Hey there, my name is James Lee. Welcome to another segment of 5149 on Breaking Points. And today, let's explore the hot button topic permeating the minds of CEOs and billionaires at this year's World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. The Wall Street Journal: at Davos, mood is somber as many CEOs question economic outlook. Reuters: Davos 2023, CEOs most gloomy on growth in more than a decade. Bloomberg News: CEOs, economists worry global recession looms as WEF begins. Davos has gone mainstream and recession has gone mainstream.
A PwC survey shows 73% of chief executives across the world are expecting a global economic growth to decline over the next 12 months. That is the most pessimistic view CEOs have had since the survey started over a decade ago. Mark, we've been expecting a slowdown, but an overwhelming number of CEOs say it's coming this year.
Yeah, and Cheryl and I were just talking about this. I feel like if there is a recession this year, which I think is likely, that this is going to go down as one of the most telegraphed, most consensus recessions ever, because everyone seems to be on board. Everyone believes that there's going to be a recession sometime this year.
One of the most telegraphed, most consensus recessions ever, says Mr. CEO there. Does anyone else find it very odd, the nature of today's discourse, where CEOs and billionaires are all predicting a recession?
Jeff Bezos, who has $90 billion of his personal net worth in Amazon stock, told people not to use it.
The probabilities say if we're not in a recession right now, we're likely to be in one very soon. If you're an individual and you're thinking about buying a new, large screen TV, maybe slow that down.
Now hear me out. I understand why content creators and the media say things like, we're going into a recession, the world is ending, buy canned foods, etc. It gets clicks and it gets views. I see it happen with my own videos as well. But what I don't understand is that if you're Jeff Bezos and you make money from consumer spending, why are you going out of your way to say that there's going to be a recession and that you need to be careful about spending money? And I'm not just cherry picking here. Look at these other examples of some of the most rich and powerful people on earth saying the exact same thing.
Mild recession for 18 months or something like that.
Europe is already in a recession, and they're likely to put U.S. in some kind of recession 6 to 9 months from now.
An increase in interest rates that eventually will result in an economic slowdown. So I'm afraid that the bears on this one have a pretty strong argument.
Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Jamie Dimon, Bill Gates. I'm not saying their predictions are necessarily wrong, but these aren't exactly the types of people who would go against their own financial interests and offer up this kind of advice from the goodness of their hearts. At least I don't think so. Let me know what you think. But I think there's more going on here.
And yes, we had to take some losses in our subprime department last year, but those losses will be contained at only 5%.
I have a question, please.
Sir, the Q&A is after my statements, but you know what? You seem anxious.
Thank you.
How can I help you?
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Would you say that it is a possibility or a probability that subprime losses stop at 5%? Thank you.
I would say it is a very strong probability, indeed.
Zero. There is a 0% chance that your subprime losses will stop at 5%. Zero. Excuse me. I have to take this.
He must be from Bank of America.
Yeah.
That is how we expect people in positions of power to behave in the weeks and months leading up to an economic recession. The wealthy, the elite, the establishment mouthpieces will say, no, the market is strong and there's nothing to worry about. And any opinions and evidence contrary to that are to be dismissed as fringe conspiracies. Today, however, mega investment firms like BlackRock are publicly shouting from the rooftops, telling us to, quote unquote, get ready for a recession unlike any other, and what worked in the past won't work now. This is really bizarre to me because, and this is a little anecdote, the commencement speaker at my MBA graduation, her name was Sally Krawcheck. She was kind of a famous former research analyst and banking executive. She told us in her speech that there was an unwritten rule within Wall Street to never write or publish negative research. Basically, if you predicted that the market would go up and it didn't, that would be okay. Just dust your stuff off and we'll get it right the next time. But if you predicted that the market would go down and it didn't, you'd be crucified and fired. That was just how it was, apparently. But for some reason, they've now done a complete 180, and throughout all of 2022, CEOs and billionaires have been promulgating this recession narrative, so much so that over 50% of Americans think that the economy is only going to get worse in 2023, according to a recent Wall Street Journal poll. So it's either that people in power are for some reason more honest, more altruistic now, and warning people about getting smart with their money, or there's something else going on. I think there could be something else going on. First off, despite however outwardly quote unquote somber the mood has been for CEOs, the fact is that US corporations are still lining up to buy back their own shares. The article I'm citing is from January 9th, 2023, Bloomberg News. Quote, despite 98% or whatever survey you want to use of CEOs saying that they're worried about a recession, they are still comfortable enough to spend money on stock buybacks. So are they really that worried? That's a good question. Are they? Because evidence suggests that a recession isn't much of a worry if you have enough capital, due to the fact that you can not only withstand a recession, but you'll come out of it even better off than you were previously. The Great Depression, the dot-com bubble, the financial crisis, their survivors always got bigger. But here is the key difference. You remember that clip from earlier, The Big Short. The big banks were definitely aware of their over-levered position and knew they were exposed if the bubble were to pop. Probably not to the degree or magnitude, but they knew it would be bad for them, which is why it was widely reported afterwards that many of them had tried to conceal their bad investments and financial woes with quote-unquote accounting sleight of hand. Accounting sleight of hand. Interesting how they put that. But my point is, this is not the case today. According to a report from JP Morgan, all the big banks appear to be well capitalized to weather a recession. The nomenclature on this graphic looks a little bit technical, but to put it simply, even under the worst case scenario, the banks would have more than enough cash in reserve to weather the storm and comply with regulatory requirements that were put in place after the financial crisis. So in some ways, I guess it's a good thing that they've learned their lesson and won't be on the brink of collapse if the economy were to tank, but maybe not so good in the sense that they might also be willing to tolerate or even bring about a recession for their own self-serving interests, knowing full well the negative impact it would have on everyday working people. For example, think about housing. If housing prices were to collapse, who would be best primed to take advantage, you think? A well-capitalized institutional investment firm or a full-time worker whose job may or may not have been impacted by a recession, trying to pay their monthly mortgage or saving up to buy their first house? This is from Fortune magazine, quote, what's an interesting dynamic with institutional investors is a lot of them have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for that moment to strike. They're thinking, hey, I want to buy these homes from you, the builder, but I want to have a discount to do so. These institutional investors don't just want markdowns in the 10% ballpark. They're hoping for 20% and 30%. Well, that's sort of convenient, isn't it? The hollowing out of America's housing market vis-a-vis a recession by corporate vultures.
Alex Karp, thank you for being here.
I'm very
nice to
happy
see you. How many times have we been doing this?
Many times. Yeah.
And we've been through a bit of a roller coaster in terms of the economy, in terms of the world, geopolitics and everything. What is your sense now, and do you think the sensibility is here right now?
Yeah, look, we built our company, and I believe in addressing the world as it is. We've built our company around the way the world is now. I am pessimistic about the near future, very optimistic about what we can do to help that.
Alex Karp of Palantir Technologies, a scarily powerful firm. Look them up. But anyway, the point I wanted to make is that I think that clip perfectly encapsulates the mindset of Davos and the World Economic Forum and the game they play. The CEOs, the billionaires, and the business community, they love to pontificate about the state of the world, the opportunities, the challenges, and how they are the ones somehow best equipped to save the world, except, of course, ignoring the fact that they are responsible for causing most, if not all, of the problems in the first place, thus perpetuating this cycle where they create problems, Then they get together to talk about the problems, which then ultimately lead to these backroom deals where they hatch these profit-generating schemes that masquerade around as solutions. That's a conspiracy if there ever was one, because with each of these cycles, they gain just a little bit more control over the masses, and we gradually and inevitably lose our personal sovereignty. So, is the recession coming? Is it already here? For now, we can only conjecture, but the undeniable truth is that each and every invitee at Davos no doubt has the ability to profit handsomely from economic, social, and geopolitical disorder, all while prancing about the Swiss Alps, cosplaying as altruistic ambassadors of the world. That is all from me this time. I am very curious to know what you think. Also, if you found today's discussion about Davos to be helpful, please take a moment to check out my channel 5149 with James Lee, where I release weekly videos relating to the intersection of business, politics, and society. The link will be in the description below. Of course, subscribe to Breaking Points, and thank you so much for your time today.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.